Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Sean speaking, obviously. Today what we're going to do is we are going to go over the whole section 2 of the MBA program, which is your nutrition webinar. And we're going to actually learn some pretty cool stuff today. But before we get going, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me and everything is all good. So if you guys could just type a little something in the box, just letting me know that you could hear me and everything is all good. Say, how you doing? Hey, okay, whatever you like to say in that box, you guys can. I just want to make sure my chat is working as well. So if you guys have questions and everything during this webinar, I'm definitely able to see them and answer your questions as prompt as possible. You have to put headphones in. I don't know what that means, Paul. The headphones are in, by the way. I don't know if it's a little too loud. Is that better? I lowered the volume. Hi, Donna. Meredith, how you doing? All right, so it seems like you guys can hear me. Is anybody having an echo? I would just like to solve this before I go, because I have my headphones in and everything, and I think it's all fine. All right, so here we go, guys. Hopefully Paul's the only one having that issue, because there's really nothing I could do. I have my headphones in. Is anybody hearing me double other than Paul? Okay, Donna says no echo. All right, so I'm going to start this up. So today's agenda, first thing we're going to learn is what the whole food non-processed diet is. Second, we're going to learn the items you're going to need for your kitchen to make your life easier. We're going to learn and spend the bulk of our time on putting together your own meal plan, because there's going to be a formula that you guys are going to be putting in. So if you guys could definitely have your cell phones out in front of you, not to text or anything, just for your calculator, because there's definitely going to be things that you're going to need to calculate, formulas for max heart rate, water intake, especially the protein formula. I'm going to show you guys how to put together meal plans for fat loss, for preserving the body mass, and also for muscle building. So if you guys have your binder, you definitely need your binder in front of you, because I'm going to go over everything. And I want you guys to be able to flip from page to page to see exactly what I'm showing you on the screen. And this is the section we're going to be going over, section 2. There's a tab for it. You can flip it right over, and you're going to see this crazy picture of me. So here we go. All right, the whole food non-processed diet. So this is FatBurn's first ever creation of a nutrition program, right? And this is something I wholeheartedly believe in. When I eat whole non-processed foods, it's when I mentally and physically feel at my best. So I'm going to kind of just read from the paragraph I wrote here. The whole food non-processed diet is all about nutrient-dense foods. Fueling your body with foods high in nutrient density is what will change you physically and mentally. What are nutrient-dense foods? Nutrient-dense foods are veggies and fruits loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Proteins can also be nutrient-dense as well. All of the proteins on the portion list have a full amino acid chain and nourish your body. Amino acids just means that your body is just going to suck up everything that protein has to offer for muscles, for tissue repair. You may be wondering how certain starches can be nutrient dense. Well, starches like purple potatoes, especially, you guys will hear me talk about those a lot, are loaded with nutrient value. These foods can be found in every category in our foods our body craves. This diet, and I put it in quotes because, I feel like what I live by is not a diet. I feel like it's my lifestyle. And when I want to feel at my peak performance, this is the way I eat, guys. This is literally my brain in a binder on paper for you guys. This diet can be used for any type of preference, whether you eat meat or you are vegan. It can be used for people eating 3 times a day to 6 times a day. It can even be used for anyone interested in intermittent fasting. If you guys don't know what intermittent fasting is, maybe I'll do a Facebook Live on something like that. It's actually something I experienced and I've done before. It works. I mean, pretty much everything I've ever tried works when I'm eating a whole food, non-processed diet. So when eating whole nutritious foods, worrying about calories and macronutrient ratios really become obsolete. The portion size guide is designed to feed you the perfect portion every time for the result you want. The plan is put into place by first figuring out how many grams of protein you need. Once that is established, the rest falls into place. Your body type, activity is going to be an important one. Height, weight, and goals all taken into account to make the best plan for you. All right. So before we move on, the next page is going to be the one that's going to really calculate. Within the next few pages, they're going to be the next ones that calculate your protein formula. Again, when I get to that page, I really want you guys to have your calculator out. I'm probably going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you guys to post some stuff in that chat box because I want to see what you're getting. These are items you're going to need for your kitchen. Food scale, which is super important, especially for weighing out proteins. There's some starches and some fruits I weigh out as well. Instead of trying to calculate and cut certain things up and put it into cups, I feel like weighing stuff out is easier. So carrying a food bag for storage with an ice block can keep it cool and always keep you, can always have your food with you. Containers from the to store food. Water bottle, super important. Here's the list of kitchen items that I bought really to make my meal prep super easy and effective, like a rice cooker, crock pot, a cutting board, obviously, and sharp knives. That might seem like, duh, I need sharp knives, but if you've ever tried to cut into a sweet potato with a dull knife, it stinks. So make sure that your blades are sharp. It just makes everything so much easier and efficient, especially when it comes to cutting veggies and meat as well. And of course, you need pots, pans, spatulas, and stuff like that. So now we're about to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of this. This is when you guys are going to need to be able to calculate certain stuff. So in order to get the right amount of food, this formula is really going to help guide you. So this stuff at the beginning might not make sense, but your body weight is converted into kilograms. I'm going to show you how to do that on here, and then multiplied by one of the following. So for weight loss, fat loss, you could multiply that number, your body weight in kilograms, multiply it by 1.2 or 1.4, either one. One of them is just going to feed you obviously a little bit less than the other. Preserving lean body mass. That is typically your females close to 25% body fat that want to preserve that lean body mass, don't care too much about weight change. Now they want to preserve that lean body mass and they want to lose fat, right? That's just reducing body fat percentage. That's what preserving lean body mass is. These are important right here because these are what you are going to choose, what your goal is, and then you're going to figure out what you want to multiply this by. And then muscle gain, we can multiply your body weight in kilograms by 2, 2.2, or 2.4, either one. And the preserving lean body mass was, your body weight in kilograms multiplied by 1.6 or 1.8. And I'm going to give examples of this for you guys as well. The significance of these numbers represents how much protein you will be fed in grams based on your desired goal. So you guys need to figure out what you want, what your goal is. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to have that fat loss that's being at a caloric deficit? If you do, we're going to be using 1.2 or 1.4. If you want to preserve lean body mass, females in the 25% range, men in the 15% range. If you want to preserve lean body mass, we're going to be using 1.6 or 1.8. If you want to build muscle, because you're in that area, that kind of, I wouldn't really call it toning, it really is muscle building. We're going to be taking your body weight in kilograms and multiplying it by one of the three. You guys really need to know your goals and what you want. It's super important when it comes to calculating these numbers. So here's an example. So if you're a woman weighing 150 pounds that wants to lose weight, the formula will look like this. 1 kilogram equals 2.2046. That's what it equals in pounds, right? So what we're going to do, since she's 150 pounds, this is when you need your calculator and you have to know your weight. 150 pounds divided by 2.20462 is going to equal 68 kilograms, right? So I want you guys to take a minute, put your weight, divide it by 2.20462, and figure out your weight in kilograms. Once you have that number there, don't do anything. Leave the number there. All right? I want you to leave the number there for a second, because then we're going to do another multiple after that. And that's the number I want to see in this chat box. So take your body weight, divide it by 2.20462, get your weight in kilograms up on there. This person who's 150 pounds is going to be 68.03 kilograms, 68 to be exact. If it's some, or you might have to round up. I mean, say you get your number and it's 67.7, that's 68. If you're 100.7, it's 101. If it's 100.2, it's 100. So you might have to round up or down, but just get a nice kind of a number in there and make it just 68. So you can see they did the conversion here already for you. So 150 pounds is 68 kilograms. She wants weight loss. We're going to multiply that number by 1.2. And now you can see that it's 81.6. And we're going to round up to 82. So I want you guys right now, based on your goals, to take your body weight in kilograms and multiply it by one of the following. Multiply it by one of the following, and that is your grams of protein. That's how many grams of protein you're going to be fed per day. So do your calculations, and I want to see how many grams of protein you're supposed to be fed per day in the chat box. I'm also going to do mine. Mine is going to be for muscle building, so I'm going to take my body weight. I'm going to do my calculations, and then I'm going to put my answer on there as well and do this with you guys. I'm going to give you like a couple minutes. Okay, so I got my answer already, and I'm going to put my answer on here. Nice, Donna, first answer. By the way, when you get that number, keep that number on your calculator. We're going to have to do one more little thing to figure out. One more little thing, just to figure out what the breakdown of grams of protein per meal is. I want to see a few more answers on here before I proceed. Nice. Okay. So Meredith, you would just put that up to pretty much 88, but yeah, you're probably right with that number. Danielle got 91. Awesome. All right. So now you have that number on there. Do you have to decide right now if you want to eat 4 or 5 meals per day? Right? This person over here. See, I have this the next box. Now we have to just figure out how many meals per day she can eat. In this case, let's say she chooses 4 because 4 is a good number for her. She's able to get 4 meals in per day, and it just works out with her schedule. Now we're going to take her grams of protein per day, divide it by 4. The number for her came out to 20.5. So she needs about 20 grams of protein per meal. That is just the next number you have to figure out. And I want to see up there. How many grams of protein do you need per meal? This whole system is all about you guys able to figure out things on your own and really learn what you're putting in your body and what you're doing. Because there's about 7 grams of protein in 1 ounce, right? Of cooked meat, fish, chicken, etc., right? So 20 divided by 7 is about 2.85 ounces for this person. So approximately that she needs about 3 ounces of protein. Now I have done this conversion. It's all figured out for you guys already on the pages to come, but just in case you wanted to know this stuff, this is really how to figure it out, like in your head and just like get stuff done. So you take your number, Danielle, you take 91. Divide that by however many meals you want per day. Donna, 109 divided by how many meals you could eat per day. And Meredith, yours is 88.89. Take that and divide it. That's going to give you the breakdown of what you need per day. And that number is important when we come to the next pages because we're going to start putting together our own meal plan, and I'm going to show you how. So take that number, and I believe, let's just say, for example, I'll use Donna's as an example. 109 divided by, say Donna wants to eat 4 meals per day. Donna needs roughly 27 grams of protein. We'll just say 25. We'll put that to 25. If you want 4 meals, Donna. Okay, she did 5, 22 per meal. Perfect. Donna, let's just say that we're going to make that number 20. All right. Just because it's going to work out and you're going to get that extra protein. Danielle, this is give an example for 1.2. Typically, if somebody's really, really active at this point, you guys could use 1.2 if you want to keep it on the low side, right? The formula I'm going to use when I show you guys the fat loss is going to be by 1.4, but 1.2 is fine. I was going to have everybody use 1.2, but if you're comfortable with 1.4, I was going to have everybody use 1.4, but if you're comfortable with the 1.2 because it makes sense for you, you could use it. I mean, you guys are literally going to be designing your own meal plan. So I feel like 20 grams of protein split over 5 meals for Donna sounds pretty good. That's a good split. So Danielle, if you'd like to, actually, you can use 1.2. I know I said 1.4 because that's my example, and I just wanted to make it easier. I'm glad I actually have 2 examples of this 1.2, and then the one when we're putting stuff in the box is 1.4. So keep that number of grams of protein per meal. So this is the next page. This is when you guys are going to start using stuff, and I'm going to skip ahead real quick, but this is how you're going to put your custom meal plan together. There are numbers. They're more along the lines of levels, right? There's level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6. And that's how the meal plan is going to be implemented as well on the food on the website. So if you know, and I don't want you to write how many grams per day you're going to have in these boxes up here, like meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4. I'm going to give you an example of that. This is how you're going to structure, and I'm going to make it super easy for you guys to be able to put this together. So putting your meals together really it's never really been simpler than this. The chart above is going to be customized for you. You're going to be making the stuff. I'm going to make it very easy for you to break down, right? And then I'm going to give you the numbers that coincide with the grams that you just got. So Donna, say you're going to eat 20 grams of protein per meal, split over 5 meals. I know that's a level 2. Everything with a 2 next to it is 20 grams of protein. So I'm going to skip to the next page, right? So this is the fat loss formula. I did it on here as 1.4. So fat loss formula, body weight in kilograms multiplied by 1.4 for total protein grams. If somebody's 70 kilograms and they multiply it by 1.4, they're having 98 grams of protein, and they want to split that over 4 meals, which makes it 24.5 grams of protein, or we round it up for 25. Level 3 meals, level 3 proteins all equal 25, and it's going to go up in increments of 5. So a level 2 is 20, level 3 is 25, level 4 is 30, level 5 is 35, and a level 6 is 40. So if you know right now that you're supposed to have 20 grams of protein per meal split over 5 meals, you could go ahead right now and put 2s right across the board, right in that protein column. You could put all 2s. If you're supposed to have 25 grams of protein per meal, you could put 3s. If it's 30, it's 4. And these are on the pages to follow, but you don't really need to see that right now. You just need to know that information I just told you. Level 2s are worth 20 grams. Every 2 protein is 20 grams of protein. Every level 3 protein is 25 grams. Every level 4 is 30. Every level 5 is 35, and 6s are 40. So if you guys right now want to, and you know you're splitting it over 5 meals, like Donna has her number, and she's going to eat 20 grams of protein per meal, you could put 2s right across the board right here. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 5 times. So I put a little point right here. Fat loss requires 2 meals with starches. So for this person decided that they wanted to have starch meal 1. So if they're going to have starch meal 1 and not have a fruit, you're going to put 3. Anytime there is a starch picked in a meal, you are going to have a single serving of veggies. That just means 1 cup or whatever is allotted on that veggie list. So if you want starch meal 1, you're going to do protein 3, single serving of veggies. You're deciding not to have fruit. Maybe you are going to have fruit on that, but your fruit should always match your protein number. And you are allowed to have fruit in any one meal that you would like. You could pick fruit in any one meal. That's why this is going to be able to be customized. Say this person wants some oatmeal with some blueberries in it, and maybe they put some type of protein powder of the eggs in the side, and they decide that that's what they want for breakfast. They have the ability to do so in meal 1. If they want a salad for meal 2, because now since you're not getting starch in this meal and they get double veg and they want a salad, they want to cut up and put some apples in the salad, they could put fruit here if they want, which is what this person decided to do. It's up to you where you want to put the fruit. It does not matter, but you get it once a day, and that number has to match the protein number. So this person decided they wanted starch. Say they're having some eggs, they're going to do a single serving of veggies in those eggs, and then they wanted some oatmeal and some peanut butter, right? That's a meal they could have that they could put together. And that's a starch meal. This would be considered a balanced meal. This is going to be a balanced meal. That means that this meal is at a 40-30-30 macronutrient ratio. You don't really need to know that much, but if you are choosing starch, it will be balanced. So if this was a 4, then this would be 4, and this would be 4. If this was a 2, then this would be single, this would be a 2, and this would be 2. And if they decided that the fruit would be a 2. Everything would be the same. The only time ever that there's going to be a different number in here is if I have to do something customized for you, or you are not getting starch in that meal. This person's meal 2, they decided not to have starch. They're going to double up on the veg, and they're going to, for the absence of starch, they're going to go 1 number higher than their protein. So if meal 2 is a 2, double veg, say they decide they wanted fruit, 2 fruit, 3 fat. If this was a 4, this would be a 4, double veg, 4 fruit, 5 fat. We need to add a little bit more fat for the absence of starch so you guys have energy for your day and to get through class. We need to up the fat where there's no starch in a meal. And since you get 2 meals with starches that you could put wherever you want, regardless if it's 4 or 5 meals, this is up to you to put this together however you'd like. Just make sure 2 have starch, 1 meal has fruit, and the fruit has to match the protein number. And where there is no starch, you double the veg and you go 1 higher with the fat. Do you guys understand that? Because what I'm going to have you guys do is pretty much what I have written on here. I want to see, after this webinar is done, I want to see pictures of this chart that you put together in Facebook. I want you guys to take pictures of this stuff and put it right into the Facebook group and tag me in it so I could see it. I want to see how you structured your day. I want to see your formula. I want to know that you guys fully understand and you know how to put this stuff together. Just try not to make it super complicated for yourself. Body weight in kilograms times 1.2 or 1.4 if you want to lose weight. You're going to pick how many meals you want, 4 or 5. That's going to give you your grams of protein per day. Remember, 20 grams is 2. 25 grams is 3. 30 grams is 4. 35 is 5. And 40 is 6. This is also going to be written out for you when we get to the next coming pages. But I'm just saying that now so you guys know what numbers to put in there and you could start creating your stuff. And obviously this will be on replay. So if you guys have any questions, you could always watch the replay. But if you guys have any questions, ask them now, because I'm going to move to the next page where we are going to go for a preserving lean body mass formula. So I'm just going to continue on using the 7 kilograms weight. So again, preserving lean body mass can be multiplied by 1.6 or 1.8. I chose 1.8 on here. This person multiplied 70 kilograms, their weight in kilograms, times 1.8. Now they're eating 126 grams of protein per day. They're going to eat 5 meals per day. So they're getting 25 grams of protein per day. Remember, number 3 is 25 grams. So preserving lean body mass requires 3 meals with starch. It doesn't matter if you're eating 4 or 5 times, 3 of them have to have starch. Again, they went balanced. Meal 1, completely balanced with their stuff. They went 3 veggie. Remember, if you're having a starch, you get a single serving of veggies. So what they did was they went balanced meal 1. They went unbalanced meal 2. They doubled the veg. They upped the fat. They went fully balanced in meal 3, meaning that they just picked their fruit. Remember, the number of the fruit has to match the number of the protein. Since they have starch, it is a single serving of veggies. Meal 4, they had no starch in this one. They upped the fat by 1, double the veggies, 3 protein. And then they went balanced again for meal 5. So they have 3 meals with starch. 1 of them has fruit, and 2 of them do not have starch, but they follow the rules that they needed to do by having 3 meals with starch. They're eating the right amount of grams of protein, and they set their meal plan up in the correct way. Again, men at 15% body fat, women around 25% body fat, could possibly be a little higher, maybe 26% body fat. This is more along the lines of the formula that you're going to be using to calculate. I would say the majority of people are going to be going for fat to weight loss, but some of you are in this boat too. And I want you to understand how to use it. I apologize. I skipped right over the muscle formula, but it was the same thing. So if you want to build muscle, you're going to be using the 2.2, 2.4, and every meal you have, if you want to build muscle, is going to have starch in it. Okay? Every meal that you have is going to have starch in it if you would like to build muscle. So, protein portion list. So if you could see up here, 1 is really never going to be used. So, like I said, 2 equals 20 grams, 3 equals 25 grams, 4 equals 30, 5 equals 35, and 6 equals 40. So those numbers, you guys should have those numbers already, and they should be kind of written in there. So this is just something I'm going to go over pretty quickly. So if you want any lean cuts of beef or lean ground beef, which would be considered a 93.7 lean beef, if you are a level 2 meal, you get 3 ounces of it. If you're a level 3, it's 3.5. Level 4s are 4, level 5s are 4.5, and level 6 are 5 ounces. This is going to tell you, this protein list is going to tell you how many ounces you need for just about everything. The protein list is pretty well stocked and set up. Like there's nothing that's going to have to change on this list. You guys pretty much have every protein available for you. There might be some fish on here that's left off, but that's about it. So if I'm going down here to poultry, right? The whole eggs. So I just want to make this clear. If you are making an omelet, I took into account 1 whole egg plus a 1/3 cup of liquid egg whites, which is a level 1, equals 15 grams of protein. If you choose this, you have to. So Danielle said she's a 23. Should she use a 2 or 3? Danielle, you could round that up and you could use the 3 for sure. You could definitely go up and eat 25 grams of protein per meal. That's completely fine because it's higher up there anyway. So you would definitely be using 3s. So the eggs, I just want to tell you, I took into account already. I want you to have 1 whole egg per omelet. So if you do 1 whole egg plus a 1/2 cup of liquid egg whites, that equals 20 grams. 1 whole egg plus 3/4 cup of liquid egg whites equal 25 grams, and so on and so on. Okay? Make sure you're putting the whole egg in with the liquid egg whites. And I put liquid egg whites on here because usually what I do, and I didn't put on here in case you guys ever wanted to crack liquid eggs, it would be around the same concept as here. So if you guys wanted to crack eggs and do that, I just hate wasting yolks. I just can't stand wasting food, and I don't like throwing out the yolks, which is why I use liquid egg whites. What I do is I buy my eggs organic. I get some farm fresh organic liquid egg whites. That's what I use, and this is the exact ratio that I follow. I just hate throwing yolks out, which is why I put this on here. I just want you to know this area down here, these liquid egg whites need 1 whole egg added into it in order to make it to complete amount of protein that you need per level. Again, a level 3 is 3/4 cup of egg whites, liquid egg whites, plus 1 egg. A level 4 is 1 cup of liquid egg whites plus 1 egg. Okay. And that's what's going to create that. Definitely want you guys having the whole egg. It's super important. So this is just the rest of the protein list on here. Your number, seafood, shrimp. Shrimp is pretty, you need usually more shrimp. Like for example, a level 2 shrimp is 3.5 ounces of shrimp. A level 3 shrimp is 4 ounces of shrimp. Shrimp can get pretty expensive if you guys buy it. So this is something usually I use as a treat for myself, you know, because obviously if you go to the store and you buy a bag of shrimp, it's probably going to be somewhere around $30 if you get, you know, some like not farm raised shrimp or something like that. We have all categories, dairy and cheese, right? I want you guys to understand what the deal is with cheese. So you could use any slice of cheese in any meal that you would like, right? Any slice of cheese. I would prefer you not to use American cheese. It's a lot more processed. I usually do like pepper jack, or I'll do Swiss a lot, cheddar cheese. So you could do 1 slice of cheese. I recommend you going to the deli and getting maybe a 1/4 pound of cheese or something like that. Cheese is equal parts protein and fat. So this is what you have to do if you want to use cheese, especially some people like to have cheese in their omelets. If you decide you want to use a slice of cheese and you are supposed to be having a level 3 meal, if you use 1 slice of cheese, you have to drop your fat and your protein by 1 level to account for it having both. So if I have 1 slice of cheese and I'm a level 3, I'm supposed to have a level 3 protein and level 3 fat. I'm going to use the slice of cheese, but now I'm going to have a level 2 protein and a level 2 fat. So because you use a slice of cheese, you just have to drop them. Or if you're unbalanced, maybe you're not having starch in your meal too, and you're a level 3 protein, which means your fat's going to be a level 4. You use a slice of cheese. Now you're going to have a level 2 protein and a level 3 fat. Okay. I hope that's understandable. I want to give you guys a chance to use some of the things you like in a non-processed way. I use cheese, pepper jack, and Swiss, which means you guys can have cheese. And this is how I account for the fat in the cheese and the protein. And I drop my stuff down by 1 level to make sure that my body is still getting what it needs. Okay. So you could definitely have cheese. Those are some of I use cheddar too, as well, on occasion, especially like in eggs. I don't really put cheese on too many things, but like eggs, I'll put cheese in eggs. Maybe you want to have some cheese on a burger that you make, right? And you're supposed to have a level 3 burger, which would be 3.5 ounces. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the level 2, you're going to take the level 2, make a level 2 burger and put cheese on it, and then just drop your fat by 1 as well. So down here, I have some vegan-based proteins that are low in carbs, like tofu. I have tempeh. Tempeh is pretty high in fat as well. So if you're going to use tempeh, right? If you're having and tempeh tacos or something, I actually like to make and I enjoy. So if you're using tempeh, add no fat to your meal. So if I'm a level 3 and you use tempeh and you use 3.25 cups of tempeh, you have used all your protein level 3 and all of your fat level 3. This is the only area in here that's like that. If you use tempeh, tempeh is kind of like tofu. It almost looks like crumbled cheese in a way. It tastes exactly like whatever you flavor it with. So if you give it some good flavoring, that's what it's going to taste like, which is why it's delicious in a taco. If you have like some taco seasoning, but not like the garbage taco seasoning that has MSG and stuff in it, like a good natural taco seasoning. You could use tempeh, but just know that it's going to account for the fat also. So if you use a level 3, you have used your 3 fat and your 3 protein by using tempeh, which means you will not be adding fat into that meal. So beans are tricky, right? Which is why I have all this extra writing. So if you're on this page in your book, all this writing is not here. This took some calculations, right? So I'm going to just use lentils. I know lentils and I know beans. They also have protein in them, of course, but we're not going to account for that protein with beans. So if you want to use these as a starch, they will be used as a starch and you will use it as we get to that list. So if you want to use lentils, 1/4 cup, that's your level. These are your levels up here. Hummus and edamame are a little bit different. Edamame or hummus can be used in a meal with starch only, but since they are close to equal parts protein and equal parts starch, be cautious of the serving size list below. If 1 cup of edamame or hummus is used in a meal, for example, a level 3 meal, which you could see below that hummus and edamame, 1 cup is a level 3, you have now chosen both starch and protein. So this is almost like the same concept as tempeh. So if you use 1 cup of edamame, that is your starch and your protein for that meal. Okay, the calculations for it are not going to be exactly perfect, but they're pretty close, right? These are for people that like to eat some plant-based proteins. Might be using this chart a little bit more, but if you're a level 2 and you use 3/4 cup, that is your starch and your protein all mixed in one. Now, most of the time, what you guys are going to be doing is you're going to be mixing edamame or hummus with other stuff, right? So if you want to mix this with a meal, make sure that the number adds up to the protein and starch required in your meal. This is literally going to require a little bit of research on your end. You're going to have to go in here and you're going to have to say, for example, you want to add 2/3 cups of edamame or hummus to a meal. Then you know that you're supposed to have 25 grams of protein for that meal. And you want to add it with meat, right? You're going to have to go, you already have the formula and the calculations for the protein. Go in here and look at how many grams of protein is in 2/3 cups of hummus. And then say there's 10 grams of protein, right? in this 2/3 cup. You're going to look and you're supposed to have 25 grams of protein. You could use 2/3 cup, go to the protein list. You know that all level 1 proteins are 15 grams. 10 plus 15 is 25. That's how you're going to add that together. The only research you're going to have to do is on this. Just go look at what it is. This is how you guys are going to learn how to put stuff together on your own. Of course, I am there to answer questions. If you're like, hey, I'm having this hummus and how much am I supposed to have in here? I will be glad to answer questions for you guys, to give you the split, to add this to stuff and then see how much starch you're supposed to have and all that stuff. I would definitely be happy to add that in. But if you guys do a little bit of research and you look in here and you also see how many carbs you're supposed to have, because you'll see a level 3 carbs. I believe maybe it's like 25 grams or maybe it's 30, 35 when I get there. We're going to take a look at that, but you're going to have to put your stuff together and try to get it as close as possible. This is really what it takes to kind of make a lifestyle change. So these are the nutrient dense veggies. So when I said single serve of veggies, every veggie choice on here is 1 cup unless specified. So if you want eggplant, you could have 1 cup of eggplant. That's a single serving. If you want red cabbage, 1 cup. Purple kale, 1 cup. Purple carrots, 1 cup. Spinach cooked, 1 cup. Spinach raw, 2 cups is a single serving of raw spinach. And you could also see down here any leafy green, arugula, mesclun green, spring mix, romaine, iceberg. 2 cups is 1 serving. So if it's a double serving, it's 4 cups. Now, there might be some veggies on here I left off. And as you guys start going through here and finding stuff, like for example, see how this says raw kale? This should be 2 cups as well. So if you guys are on this page, write 2 cups next to it, because that's definitely what that should be. Anything raw, any leafy raw green should definitely be 2 cups. So if you have a double serving, it should be 4 cups. There might be some veggies I left off here. If there's veggies on here that you eat that are not on this list, please contact me on Facebook and say, I like to eat this veggie. How much of it can I have? So the veggies list you have to be careful with. Say you're supposed to have a double serving of veggies and you decide you want 2 cups of broccoli. Broccoli can be pretty filling. It could also make you pretty gassy. Might not be in your best interest to eat 2 cups of broccoli. You might want to mix that with something else. Same thing with cauliflower. Cauliflower is pretty filling. You might want to not eat 2 cups of it. If you have a double serving of veggies, it's filling and it could bother some people, right? So you're going to want to mix and match. You can mix and match. As long as it equals 1 cup in a single serving, you can mix and match any veggie you want. You could do a 1/4 cup of cooked kale, a 1/4 cup of eggplant, a 1/4 cup of red cabbage, and then a 1/4 cup of carrots all in one. As long as it equals to 1 cup, that's a single serving. You could do the same thing with veggies. As long as it equals 2 cups or 4 cups if it's raw, that's a double serving. You guys can mix and match as you want with any vegetables, which is not a word, vegetables. Feel free to mix and match those as you want. These are all super high nutrient dense veggies and are definitely good for you. And I don't care how many different veggies you guys want to mix and match, as long as it equals a cup. I mean, I do a vegetable medley. Well, I'll have, some peppers, some onions, some spinach. I'll have different things mixed, and I take my cup and I put it out, and that's my single serving. This is just more of the list here. This is down here is where you'll be able to add, obviously, some extra veggies. I mean, there's plenty of room on this page. So if something's not on here, let me know. I will get you the answer. I believe there's some asparagus left off, which, for example, a single serving asparagus would be 7 spears, right? So, I mean, not that you would know that, so not right, but a single serving asparagus would be 7 spears, which means a double would be 14 spears. You probably wouldn't want to eat 14 spears of asparagus. So you would do, if you had the double serving, you would do 7 spears and then maybe like a cup of peppers, right? To mix your stuff together. I just want you guys to know that there's definitely options, as long as a single equals a cup and a double equals 2 cups. If it's more along lines cooked, if it's raw, like raw spinach and stuff in a salad, you're going to be using 4 cups of that. Or if you want to do a spring mix that, has like some mixed greens in there, it could have some kale and stuff like that. You could do 4 cups of that raw. It could be any mixture you like. So this is the fruits and starches list. The fruits are not equal to what the starches are. This is something different. I had to account for high sugar content in this when I put it together. But again, say you're having a level 3 meal, you want to add blueberries to it. Here you go. 2/3 cups of blueberries could be added to that meal. So if you wanted some oatmeal and you wanted a 3 cooked oatmeal, and you wanted to add a 3 blueberries to it, you would put 2/3 cup of blueberries. There's some of these that are weighted, right? Like I did, where is it, for example? Cranberries need to be filled in. I apologize that is not filled in. But bananas, right? I did ounces for bananas. And this is weight with skin on. So like 3 ounces of banana, 4 ounces, 5 ounces. I don't want you guys trying to use inches of banana and all that stuff. So you're going to weigh out bananas. There's other things like cantaloupe. This is literally what I do. Mangoes, I weigh them out because like cutting it up, it's a nightmare trying to put it in a cup and trying to measure out a cup of that stuff. Like it's like a quarter cup of cantaloupe, right? It's like, what is a quarter cup of? It's like nothing. It's like 2 chunks of cantaloupe. So I put this stuff in ounces, which is going to make your life easier. Trust me, it's made my life easier. And I did the same thing with Greek yogurt. Measuring out, weighing out Greek yogurt is super easy too, because when you scoop out cups of Greek yogurt, it's annoying to kind of get it down. But if you could just take spoonfuls, put your container on your food scale, it's so much easier to deal with that than it is to actually like take cups out. So you could see that a level 1 starch is person's getting about 20 grams. A level 2 is 25, 3 is 30, 4 is 35. So if you were eating a level 3 meal, you would have 25 grams of protein. You'd be eating about 30 grams of starch, and everything on here equals what's up here. Okay, so if you wanted oatmeal, level 3 is a half a cup of cooked oatmeal. That's cooked oatmeal. Everything on here is cooked, okay? Buckwheat, this is all cooked stuff. None of this on here is raw. These are all really good whole grains, right? Some of these you might have never ate before, but there's some wheat berries, there's teff. All these 4 items right here, they kind of all look the same. Amaranth, it looks almost identical as quinoa. It definitely has a different taste to it, has its own kind of like flavor. But then you have quinoa. We have rice on here, brown, red, wild, all different types of rice that I eat. These are what I eat here. And these are the serving size you could have. Again, these are all cooked. And you could see what I did in potatoes. Potatoes are in ounces. Again, I don't scoop out cups of potato. I weigh my potato out. That's exactly how I do it. And I'll do a potato medley too, where I have some sweet potato, some white sweet potato, some Idaho potato. I have a good mixture of them. I'll weigh my stuff out in my plate, and it just makes my life so much easier to just weigh it out and know that my portions are spot on. There is bread on here. If anybody has a gluten allergy, you're going to have to stay away from Ezekiel bread. But you can see that a level 1 and level 2 get 1 slice, a level 3 and 4 get 1.5 slices, and level 5s and 6s get 2 slices of bread. So again, this number should match up always with the protein number. Always, always. If you're a level 3 protein, you're going to be eating a level 3 starch, which means you're going to be a level 3 fruit and a level 3 fat. If there's a starch in your meal's balanced. Always remember that. Dietary fats. So any one of these oils that you like to use, level 1 is, we went in teaspoons here. If you guys want to make a little note kind of up here, 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. What I use to mix with this is I have the Bertolli spray. So I take the Bertolli olive oil spray, I spray my pan, and then I put my oil in if I want to cook in oil, just to make sure that I'm getting a good cook on everything. Because sometimes if you put these amounts of oil, it's not gonna cook all the way, or stuff might start sticking to the pan. But all your numbers are on here. Remember, if there's no starch in the meal, you're going 1 higher in fat. So this is the list. On here, we got avocado. I will be going over condiments. We're not going to go over today, but I will get you guys a list of condiments the same way that I'm going to be putting together a list of recipes. There's 6 recipes that I created. I'm going to show you what a sample one looks like when we're in here. But this next stuff I'm going to kind of go over quickly. So anytime I do a body comp, or you do any body comp with anybody, regardless of who your coach is, bring your binders in. There's going to be reap sessions put in that binder. Also, this progress tab, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 slots in here before we have to put a new progress tab slot in here. That's 6 months of body comps on this one tab here. So you bring it in, so you have your written copy. You're going to get emailed the copy, and then Jasmine or whoever's at the front desk at that time between White Plains or Stanford is going to send you a copy too. But this is just so you could always track your progress, right? You always want to see what you're doing. Water intake. So I want you guys really to read these 10 benefits of drinking water on your own. But if you look on the bottom, this formula, right? So you take your body weight in pounds, multiply it by 0.55 on days you don't work out, and that's how many ounces you should be drinking. If I'm 165 pounds and I'm not working out today, I multiply my body weight times 0.55, and I know that I'm supposed to drink about 91 ounces of water. I want you guys to know these formulas. If I'm working out, it goes up 0.10. So my body weight in pounds times 0.65, 165 times 0.65, and I'm supposed to drink 107 ounces of water in that day. This is how you guys could calculate how much water that you're going to have in a day. Pretty easy and simple to use. 0.65 body weight times 0.65 on days you work out, on body weight times 0.55 on days you do not work out. The next thing we're going to talk about is max heart rate and steady state cardio. This is another formula that you guys should 100% know. Danielle, should we put our body count? We just did. You can if you want. If you know the numbers for that, your measurements and everything, and you want to put that date in there, and you literally just did one, go ahead, put it in. If you have a body comp in 2 weeks, I would leave it blank and then bring your binder in for that one, and just put your new stuff in there. So when it comes to steady state cardio and I put quote unquote fat burning zone, there is a pretty simple formula that can get you there. I know a lot of you guys like to go running on your own, and in order to go running on your own, you should have kind of a zone that you want to put yourself in. So the fat burning zone just means that anytime you're doing steady state cardio for a duration of 40 minutes or longer, the body will begin to use fat for fuel. So what is steady state cardio? Steady state cardio can be jogging, biking, or rowing, really anything that keeps your heart rate up and within a specific zone for 40 minutes or longer straight. It has been proven that HIIT training like the kind we do at Fat Burn, is proven to be more effective at burning fat than steady state cardio on its own. This is to be used for anyone that wants to go for a run and really use it to supplement the workouts at Fat Burn. But max HR is just really equals 220 minus your age. So for example, 220 minus 35 equals 185. So I'm 35 actually, but so this would be considered my max heart rate, right? I could get my heart rate above that, but this is just a simple equation. Some of you might be a little lower, some of you might be a little above, but this is it's pretty good and spot on for what it's used for. This just means somebody at the age of 35 has a maximum heart rate of 185 beats per minute. Now, if you want to figure out the fat burning zone, you multiply 185 times 0.65 and 185 times 0.70 to get the zone in which they burn the most fat during steady state cardio. Example, 185 times 0.65. This is 128 beats per minute. 185 times 0.70, 129 beats per minute. So if I'm running and doing steady state cardio and I keep my heart rate in between 120 and 129 beats per minute for a duration longer than 40 minutes or longer, my body will kick on and start using fat for energy. It doesn't have to be, and it's literally going to kick on in about after 10 minutes. But, to maximize fat burning, I want to do it for 40 minutes or longer. So if you guys go for a run, keep your heart rate in between this zone, which is 65 and 70% of your max heart rate, to burn the most fat. And again, this should be something that's used to supplement fat burn workouts. If you work out 3 days per week and you want to maybe you belong to a gym somewhere else and you want to just run in the treadmill for an hour. Now you have a goal set in mind to keep your heart rate within a certain zone for you to be efficient at burning the most fat possible on days that you are not at fat burn. And this is definitely a formula you guys you should use. You're going to need a heart rate monitor. That bullcrap stuff they use where you grab the thing, those handles on the treadmills are not accurate at all. This is definitely something that requires a heart rate monitor for you guys to use. And on the bottom of this page is Chris's head, because we all know that's not my hair. So this is an example of how your recipes are going to look. For example, this is crock pot turkey chili. And I'm using all recipes of things that I actually use that make my life easy. So I listed the ingredients. I tell you the prep time, the cook time. This cook time's 8 hours. It's a crock pot. The yield depends on your portion size. These are the ingredients and everything you need. I took into account and I pretty much added up your levels in here, but I give directions of how to make this. And you could see number 3, it says cover and cook 8 hours on low or 4 hours on high. It would depends on if it's a Sunday and you're hanging out and you want your meal in 4 hours, or you pop this thing on before you go to work, and when you come back, you just want your stuff cooked. So you can cook it in 4 hours on high. I recommend the low and slow on 8 hours. I just feel like it tastes better. Maybe that's just me. And you can see on the next page, portions. There's not a lot of fat in this meal. I told you exactly how much avocado to add. This doesn't go with the levels. I have to, because there is some fat, and I had to account for the little bit of fat in there. So if a level 2 would have 8 ounces of chili plus a quarter of an avocado. Level 3, 9 ounces of chili plus 1/3 of an avocado, so on and so on. All recipes are going to look just like this. At the end, it's going to give you your portion. It's going to give you your prep time, your cook time, It's going to tell you how many yields. Like, for example, there's some egg frittata muffins I have in here to tell you it's going to yield about 12 to 15 muffins, give or take. But most of these recipes, it depends on portion size, how much it yields. Because if I'm eating all level 6 meals, maybe I get 4 servings out of this whole chili. If I'm eating 2, maybe there's like 15 servings out of it. So the serving sizes are going to be hard to tell, but these recipes are definitely family-friendly recipes that you could pass out amongst your family. I recommended avocado in here because I love avocado, putting it right on top of the chili and then getting a little scoop of avocado and a scoop of chili at once. So this is the end of my webinar here. If you guys have any questions, I hope you found this useful, because I wanted to give you guys something that you could learn to use and apply it in your life and kind of start making these calculations on your own instead of always relying on somebody, right? I mean, even though I want you guys at Fat Burn forever, I want you to be here, I always want to help you. There might be a time you're not here, and I want you to be able to use this stuff and make calculations on the fly and do these things and figure it out and create your own meal plan. It's that whole thing, teach somebody to fish and they could feed themselves for a lifetime, right? Instead of always catching the fish for them. That's kind of the motto I used when creating this. I definitely wanted this to be something that you guys could use. And Danielle, I'm going to attach these 6, there's going to be 6 recipes. They're going to be put in the Facebook group in a file. So you guys could take these, you could print them out and you could pop holes in them and put them right into the back of section 2 of your binder. That's where you should be sticking all your recipes and stuff, because I'm going to be constantly creating recipes, vegan recipes, crock pot recipes. I'm going to do recipes just for cooking veggies. So you could take that and this is like just to switch stuff up, recipes just for cooking chicken, just for cooking steak a certain way. All recipes are not always going to be complete. And I will always add that in the portion size. Like there's buckwheat pancakes. The buckwheat pancakes are starch only. Okay. They're going to make 4-inch pancakes. They're starch only. They need fat. They need protein, right? They need some veg on the side added to it. So I will specify whether it's a complete meal or not. Like I had, there's like a shrimp gumbo recipe with rice added to it. That's going to be a complete meal, starch, if you need starch in it. There's other stuff in here. This is just about complete. It just needs just a little bit of this fat in there with it. But the recipes are going to be getting attached into a file in the Facebook group. So for you guys watching the replay, you guys that just watched it now, I want you to take a picture of the meal plan you just created for yourself. The Fat Burn meals are going to change. They're going to change next week. Everything's going to be changed from levels. It's going to be level 3, and then you'll see, right? If you eat a level 3 meal that doesn't have starch in it, it's going to have double veg and the proper amount of fat's going to be put in it, right? We're also working on the pack and go. I don't know how soon the pack and go is going to be ready, but there's going to be an option on the pack and go to put double veggie in your meal and forego the starch. So you could have your level of grilled chicken. You could take your 2 cups of Brussels sprouts and you could forego the starch and not have the starch, or you could put the starch in if your meal is supposed to have starch in it. So the Fat Burn menu is definitely going to account, meals are going to account for this new plan. And that should be starting next week, bearing that we have no issues or anything on the end of the people that have to kind of put the coding in for stuff. Because like in my head, I always think it's so simple to switch to stuff, and it might not be so simple on the coding error. But yeah, the meals will be accounting for this new stuff. And the pack and go is not ready next week. It will be ready soon, but there's definitely going to be meals with levels in it. So again, guys, take that picture of your meal plan chart, post in the Facebook group. I want to see how you're putting your stuff together. Let me know what your goal is. I want to see what you multiplied your body weight in kilograms by, and I want to see what you got going on in there. Because if I have to make an adjustment, remember, starch is in 2 meals for fat loss, 3 meals for preserving lean body mass, all meals for muscle building. Okay. You guys have a great day. It's awesome. Just a little bit less than an hour on this. So everybody have a good one. Post your stuff in Facebook, questions, anything you need, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.